My name is Valerie Lozano, and this is my presentation on epigenetics for Chem 1045. So, an intro to epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of heritable changes in the expression of genes that are not related to changes in DNA, and how those changes will affect how cells read genes. Here we have a diagram that shows you how gene expression happens and how those are expressed. Simply put, it's changes in a phenotype without change to a cell's genotype. So epigenetic changes are common, and they're natural. They're caused by a variety of variables, and some may be out of our control. They may be decided beforehand. So, a brief history of epigenetics. The term epigenetics was first coined by Conrad H. Waddington in 1942 by combining genetics research and developmental biology. A study conducted by Griffith and Mahler in 1969 opened the door for research into a prominent component of epigenetics, DNA methylation. DNA methylation was thought to be critical in long-term memory function, and now tends to be the topic that is most generally studied in the field of epigenetics. However, there are many other factors and modifications that play a role in this. The study in epigenetic field began to increase after this finding, and has linked epigenetic changes to many disorders, including different types of cancers, immune, neuropsychiatric, and pediatric disorders. So, how variables involved in epigenetic change. These changes typically happen because of external variables that include the environment, age, lifestyle, and physical state. Environment and lifestyle include types of food and water you consume, whether you exercise, if you smoke, how much you drink, alcohol-wise. Physical state also can mean obesity, which is a big issue that can cause epigenetic changes. So for environment, the link between epigenetic changes and the environment has been a prominent one since the beginning. A study conducted by Painter, Roseboom, and Blecker showed that babies born from 1944 to 1945 during the Dutch famine had increased rate of coronary disease if the mother was exposed to famine during early pregnancy stages. And here we have a graph that explains it. So for lifestyle, these changes are not only caused by the environment, but also by your day-to-day life, decisions you make day-to-day. A person's diet is a factor in epigenetic change and can also help reverse these changes. Obviously not just diet, you have smoking and exercise and drinking and all of that, but for this specific case we have diet. A study conducted in 2016 showed that a ketogenic diet, which is high in fats like oils and olives and nuts and avocado, and low carb, so no starches, no breads, can open chromatin and improve mental ability. This was a study done on mice. So controversy. Epigenetics, for the most part, is controversy-free, but within the study there are topics that are argued and whether or not they are backed by enough evidence. One of the main controversies within the field is that of transgenerational inheritance. For mammals, during embryonic development, DNA methylation patterns is thought to remove the chance of transferring epigenetic traits. So these traits are turned on and off enough to kind of set them back to their default code. Because epigenetic does not affect code, it's thought to be erased during this development stage. While this has widely been believed not to occur in mammals, it does happen in other animals, the idea of generational memory, but it is something that is currently being studied because there are issues and cases that cannot be explained just by genetic code, such as the rates of autism in the United States. They can't just be explained by genetics. So the relation that it has to me. I personally want to pursue a career in biological sciences. I don't know exactly which field, but I am fascinated by biology. Preferably, I'd like to study molecular or cellular biology, or maybe genetics, any of that. So epigenetics is a field that I have been drawn to. You know, there's been a lot of studying around it. It's just something that has always found fascinating to me, the way that you can express different genes without having the genetic code for it. In the future, I want to be a researcher, so I want to work in a lab and I want to do findings and all of that. and I have thought of researching epigenetics before and its effects, maybe on Drosophila or on mice or anything else. So here are my sources. These two are the studies that I referenced for the Dutch famine and the ketogenic diet, and these three are websites that I used for the other data. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.